Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Gerard, and my research focused on fostering sustainable development in a rural community. A little bit of background, I live in Jefferson County, West Virginia, which in the past 5 years has seen significant residential development. And my concern was keeping it a rural community and what makes Jefferson County great for people to live, work, and visit in. I compared two of the most recent comprehensive plans from Jefferson County in order to determine if there was any progress made, what direction we're going in, what our existing conditions within the county are, and determine the potential impacts so that I can provide recommendations to enable sustainable development. A little bit about what Jefferson County, West Virginia. It is in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. To the north, we have Maryland, and to the east is Virginia. We have multiple municipalities within Jefferson County, Ranson and Charlestown in the middle, Shepherdstown to the north, and Bolivar and Harpers Ferry to the east. We're in close proximity to metropolitan areas such as Baltimore, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., which provides easy access for people commuting or wanting to go out for sightseeing during the day. We also have a very rich history here in the county. So we took part in the Revolutionary War, in the Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, to name a few. And a lot of these are encompassed and preserved within the county. So a comprehensive plan, like I said earlier, provides direction based on a region's resources and needs, and also balances the health and the welfare of the residents within that region. So, what is sustainable development? Well, historically, and probably right off the top of your head, you might have thought, okay, well, it's conservation of natural resources. And that's not entirely true. Within the past few years, maybe even decade, sustainable development has started to encompass four basic pillars. And instead of thinking of humans as outside of natural resources, we're encompassing, humans are a part of that environment too. We're not just affecting it. So that sustainable development has come to encompass that as well. So the four are cultural, economic, environmental, and social. So looking at the economy in Jefferson County, West Virginia, here are a few things that we looked at. 44% of residents are employed in the county and 45 commute outside of the county. There's been a large influx of people moving into Jefferson County and continuing to work outside of the county because the employment within Jefferson County just doesn't pay the same as those metropolitan areas that we're so close to. So you'll notice that the median income for residents employed within the county is almost half of what those residents who commute outside of the county make, which is a little bit concerning and can create this disparity in between affordable housing for the two, especially since the new construction has really focused on single family homes rather than multifamily homes, which would give that cost appropriate housing for the income demographics within Jefferson County. Tourism and recreation are a big part of Jefferson County's economy. The largest tourist attraction within the county is Hollywood casinos, and the Eastern Panhandle accounted for over 15% of casino and slot revenue in the state in 2012, and a majority of that was the Hollywood casino. We also have historic and cultural tourism and outdoor recreation. We have Harpers Ferry National Historic Park and multiple landmarks that the Jefferson County Historic Landmark Commission oversees throughout the county. Agriculture. So as you drive through Jefferson County, you notice that there are a lot of farms, and that's because our soil is really fertile. We have great amount of soils that can be farmed. However, from 1974 to 2012, almost 15% of the county's farmland was eliminated. And on top of that, less than half of Jefferson County's farmers report an income of over $10,000 a year. So that means that they're having to go look for additional work on top of the grueling work that farming is. There's also a lack of agricultural support services within the county. This means large animal vets, meat processing, and then maintenance for those large farm vehicles and tractors. Current state and local zoning laws diminish the farmers' abilities to scale and diversify within their properties. They're very much limited at this point to what they can and can't do with their businesses, which again forces them to seek that outside employment in addition to what they have now. Infrastructure. So we already mentioned housing. Roads are a unique thing here in Jefferson County or in West Virginia as a whole. In the Great Depression, roads were taken under state control. So only state, municipalities, and private entities can own roads. So the county has no control over that infrastructure aspect. And in this rural community, the roads are narrow and curvy, which comes into play with paths and traffic control. So a big part of that cultural pillar of sustainable development is having a sense of belonging and safety and community. And without a lot of paths and sidewalks alongside the roads, you lose that connection. And those who don't have vehicles to travel are really not safe when they travel from place to place if they're doing it on foot. On top of that, public transportation options within the county are really lacking. We have the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority, which has limited routes within Jefferson County, mostly based through on Monday through Friday traffic. A couple routes in Shepherdstown for the students, one route that goes through Charlestown, Ranson, and Kearneysville and up into Martinsburg, which is in Berkeley County, West Virginia. This leads to a heavy dependency on private vehicle traffic. So it increases our traffic and decreases the ability for, the elderly who can't drive, the young who also can't drive, or if you just can't afford a car, you're really limited in how you can get around the community. Historical and cultural resources. So, tourism is what attracts most people coming out here. So, our beautiful view sheds, as well as our historic sites at Harpers Ferry National Park, our battlefields, and then the buildings therein. Our unique landscape increases quality of life for residents and also attracts new residents. And then these historical buildings that may not be used have the potential for adaptive use for businesses, so that could draw businesses in as well with that unique architecture. Natural resources. So one of the biggest issues in our county is the water. We have a lot of water sources, springs. We have the two rivers that meet in Harpers Ferry. And we're a part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed, which spans across 6 states. It's a large watershed. But back in the 1980s, they noticed that there was a lot of aquatic wildlife dying, and they went to go figure out why. What they figured out was that there was an excess of nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediments, and that comes from agriculture, so fertilizing, salting the roads, and oils and vehicular traffic. And then when it rains, it washes that directly into the water source. So that's a huge issue for our area. And we're a part of this Chesapeake Bay restoration program. And there are multiple federal laws requiring us to update our wastewater treatment and to try and lower the use of those sources. Another one is PFAS, which are also known as forever chemicals, and they come from man-made things, and they're forever chemicals because they don't go away naturally. So we need to make sure to update our wastewater treatment plants in order to filter out those at the end. But they come from wrappers, plastics, just a lot of man-made items. And West Virginia did actually enact a law and give funding, almost $6 million a year for 30 years in order just to the Eastern Panhandle for us to update those wastewater treatment plants. So that's a big help. Okay, recommendations. So, encourage for the economy side, encourage and provide incentives to attract small businesses. Across the US, almost 50% of employers are small businesses, and small businesses are 500 employees or less, excuse me. Providing training to supply a skilled workforce. So, because of the limited options and high housing costs in Jefferson County, we're seeing a lot of younger residents leaving the county to go find employment. A lot of times in Berkeley County, just because of they have lower housing costs and more industrial options for an unskilled workforce. So being able to provide them with training before they go out into the workforce will greatly increase our ability to keep younger residents here and stay engaged in our community. Expanding social media platform use is very helpful. They do have a robust Facebook platform, Instagram, and a few other things. And they do really well to post regularly. However, the engagement level is low. So collaborating with, say, the National Park Service that's here, local businesses could really engage more followers and also draw in more tourism and engage residents as well. Modifying the zoning statutes to allow agriculturalists to scale their businesses, that will give them the freedom to continue what they're doing and not have to seek outside work. And it will also bolster our economy because allowing agricultural to grow, we can have, fresh foods provided here, which reduces transportation out of the county, might reduce food costs for us as well. I also suggested two things to add a Jefferson County agricultural trail. There are many themed trails through the Jefferson County Visitors Bureau. However, adding an agriculture one to where there are shops, where people can buy local produce, where they sell their local produce at, who they sell it to. So if there's a restaurant that heavily relies on local produce, we can draw attention to that business as well. And then allowing for a tourism application as well. So if you download it on your phone and you're able to look at all these different trails, you can, track your progress, see where you visited. I think that would engage tourists and residents as well. For infrastructure, the county needs to encourage construction of a range of housing options to include multifamily homes. The housing market at this point is very constricted and difficult, even for the best of families. So allowing the residents who are making less than those commuting out to purchase a home or rent at an affordable price is really important. Collaborating with state and local partners to plan sidewalks and trails and foot and bike traffic is really important to, again, engender well-being, a sense of community, and it's something that the county has to pre-plan for. So we have to have this future foresight, which they do, because obviously they're making these very detailed, comprehensive plans. So they're thinking about the future, and they just need to bring it home with those state and local partners. And expanding the public transportation options are really important for the county as well in order to get people from place to place within the county easily. It'll also bring down that traffic for people commuting in and out. and allow for easier access to our facilities. Resources. So, Jefferson County has a farmland protection program. It is funded through transfer tax on the sale of real estate. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. It would be great if they had some alternate funding that doesn't rely on either construction or the real estate market. And continue to utilize funding from state provisions and impact fees to modernize wastewater treatment facilities. Um, we're one of the only counties that charges impact fees on new construction. So impact fees are fees that you can only use on things that are impacted by that new construction. So schools, if you have an increased population, the increased cost for water and sewage services, roadways, and that sort of thing. So that's makes it a little bit more expensive here, but it can also give back to the community as well. Continue to pursue purposeful clustered development. So clustered development will allow for the sidewalks to be increased so easier to walk from place to place. It will also keep that development in one area rather than sprawling out and taking over the areas that we like to see, which is, the farmland and the natural view sheds. For every aspect of this plan, collaboration is extremely important. The municipalities, the states, cats. Excuse me, municipalities, states, federal agencies, nonprofit organizations. There's a ton of local help that can collaborate to assist with these recommendations within the plans. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.